Chatters, chatties, welcome home for a Great American Chat, a podcast where we chat about great American media. I'm Chad Maurice, and I have a koala on my head because today we are chatting about the film Love in Bloom with the director, Rogue Rubin. Rogue, thank you so much for being here.
Chad, thank you for having me, and I particularly like your backdrop. It is. You've really gone all out. I've got the koala. I've got the backdrop. I mean, your attention to detail is amazing.
We'll talk about this backdrop later. So, I know you live in Australia, but right now you're in LA. What are you doing in LA?
What am I doing in sunny California? It is freezing cold right now in Australia. So, and I do work a lot in Los Angeles. That would be I work a lot here. So, I'm in and out of LA working.
Now, are you working on a project right now in LA?
On a project I'm not going to discuss. Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you're allowed to say anything about it. I guess not. Okay.
I appreciate you asking.
Now, before we get into talking about Love in Bloom, I want to chat a little bit about yourself and your other projects. Where did you grow up?
Everywhere. Born in South Africa, in Cape Town. Then moved. I've lived in New Zealand, then Australia. Spent some time living in Israel and a bit in Europe, and then on the east and west coast of the United States.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, you lived in the United States for a little while?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, how old were you?
This is not foreign to me.
Now, how old were you when you left Africa?
Oh, 7. But I've been back a lot because I shot a documentary there. So I spent quite a lot of time back there.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later too. Okay.
I don't know if it's the right audience.
So what country did you go to school in?
All of them.
I mean, like high school. Where'd you go to high school?
So high school was Australia.
Australia. Okay. Now, how did you get into filmmaking?
I started acting professionally when I was 10 in theater in New Zealand. And then when I was in Australia, I decided that I liked the other side of the discipline. I like the creativity of the discipline and being involved from the word go and making all those great decisions. So like as a teenager, I was like, you know what? I think I should switch teams.
Okay.
So that's how it started young for me. I mean, I went to law school. I did all, and I have a master's degree. So I really still studied a lot, but I always knew this was where I was going to end up.
Wait, did you just say you went to law school?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, I really did.
How did you get from law to film?
Because I was always going to do film, but I just thought, let's go get a good degree.
Okay, just in case, huh?
I don't know. It was no just in case. My family was very education orientated. So it was very important as and I think you'll find that with a lot of immigrant families, education is paramount. So my dad works in education. My whole family's in education. So education was paramount. So it was important that you still had degrees.
So did you get your master's in film or theater or something?
Then I got my master's in communications, focusing on film.
Okay. There's where the film comes in. Okay.
It was always there.
So
it was on the background.
So when you were a kid, did you carry a video camera around and record your family and friends? Or...
Yes. Thank you for hanging out with me. As a teenager, I walked around with a video camera and recorded everything happening at school and did the first big school video for the year. So yes, you were quite right.
Oh,
I feel like you were there.
No, that was just a guess. Now,
no one's ever guessed that. That's really
no one's ever guessed that. Oh, okay. Now, in Australia right now, I know the seasons are opposite the US. So are they having like late winter, early spring right now?
They're having an atrocious winter right now. It's
Oh.
freezing cold everywhere. So I was absolutely, yeah, shivering every day. So it's really been to go from winter there to summer here has been an absolute treat, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're just like, you're sitting in bed every day just with all the blankets wrapped around you going, please don't make me go outside.
Does it snow in Australia?
In parts, absolutely. I mean, I don't live in the parts it snows, but it absolutely snows in parts. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are there mountains in Australia?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I've never been there, so I don't know what it's like.
Australia is roughly the same size as North America.
Yeah, I know. It's huge.
Yeah. So we have we have everything. We have essentially, well, not similar terrain. The difference is that most of our population, and obviously it's tiny, is on the outskirts, just on the edges of Australia, and the whole middle is empty.
Ah, okay. So along the ocean is where everybody is.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just it's a desert. It really is a big desert on the center.
Oh, I got you. Are you a skier?
I am.
Oh, you are. Okay.
I was skiing this year. I skied in Aspen and Banff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I love skiing. I should. Right. Yeah.
That's neat.
Oh, you a skier?
Oh, I cross country ski. I've never downhilled.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know what downhill's like. So when you're an actor, when you're starting off as an actor, you have to work survival jobs in order to pay the bills before you can. But
that was never me. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, did you have to do that as a director?
Oh, as a director? Oh, yeah. No, those weren't my survival jobs. My survival jobs were always in the industry. So they weren't directing. Like it's not like someone hands you a big check and says, here you go.
Right,
You're on the outskirts trying to find a way in. So I was doing a lot of jobs I didn't want to do. So you're assisting people. I suck at assisting people, by the way.
You were the key grip, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was a key grip. I think, I would have made a good key grip, but I was not good. I was not good at being like, at always the assistant roles. I was just like, this is really, because I get bored so easily. I was so bored, and I always say I suck at things when I'm bored. So I just feel like so bored, and they'd be like, you didn't do this, and you're like, because I can't remember to do one thing when I have nothing to do but that one thing. Like, it's so boring.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm napping here. Leave me alone.
Now, what was your first big break where you got hired to direct something where you thought, oh, yeah, I think I can make a living at this. This is awesome.
You're asking. It's funny. I've done so many interviews over the last 2 years, and you're asking really different questions. It's really good.
I'm a different guy.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. Yeah. When did I decide? Well, I don't think it was like, I think it was a combination, right? Like I was doing so many things, with editing, with producing, working on a lot of unscripted, a lot of documentaries. I think maybe I was most comfortable when I started directing commercials. That's probably the turn for me, like, was directing commercials when I felt like, I wouldn't say you start with a dream and a hope and a prayer. So there's no like, oh, I can make a living. Like you're praying, like you believe you can. And I always made a living. I always supported myself. So I never had someone supporting me. So there was no question of, oh, I can make a living, because I always did. I've been making a living since I was, a teenager. So that's not a question. The question was, will I be successful at this? And that happened when I started directing bigger commercials.
Okay, that leads into my next question. You've done commercials, you've done films, you've done episodic TV like 90 Day Fiance, Nellyville, a few episodes of Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? What's your favorite? Film, TV, commercials? What do you like?
No, I love narrative. So exactly that. And both film and television narrative. So basically script for those. Yes. Scripted, anything that's scripted would be my preference. And I think
Okay.
TV episodic is just basically ongoing films.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, and I love films. Films are, I think what's great about films is you get the opportunity to come in and have this amazing family for a unique period of time, create a world for this amazing
Mm-hmm.
period of time, and
Yeah.
step in and be fulfilled artistically and intellectually, and then you get to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Now here's the next thing we're going to talk about. All
Ah,
right. Okay. Now you've directed, you've written. Here's a project that you wrote and directed,
yes,
working
sir.
with John Hamm. Tell me
Yes.
about this. What was this all about?
Um, God, let me just enjoy the photo for a second. Firstly, because my hair was lighter, so then I have to think about if I want to go lighter again. But it's always natural. As I say to people, it's always natural. Whatever color it is, it's naturally that color. So that was the first. That was a virtual reality hologram, and it was essentially a short that was at Sundance, which was to go and promote his. He did a hologram. He played a hologram in a film, so I turned him into one.
Okay.
I knew the producer, and it was symbiotic that I knew the producer, and I knew this new amazing technology, hologram, virtual reality people, and I connected them all. And John is, to those who, aren't familiar, they should be. They should be, is one of the most, I think, amazing, talented, prolific actors of our time, and is the lead of Mad Men and just been in Top Gun and every other thing, and is just an absolute delight. I mean, you don't get more professional than him. So there is us basically pointing out where he has to be inside the rim, just be inside here. But yeah, you work with someone like that, and it reminds you why you work.
Now, in this picture, you're surrounded by a green screen. Was this filmed entirely in front of a green screen?
Yeah,
I assume?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was filmed entirely. That was a very specialized, because it was a hologram. So not just a virtual. We turned him into an actual hologram. So people put on the glasses, and you could actually interact with him. So the entire thing was it was a very unique. It's like a state of the art equipment. So I was the first female ever to direct a hologram that was anywhere, as far as I know.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking technology, and it's a 360 degree setup. And there was, this is going back a little, it's 2017. So there was like a million of these little cameras that you see all around him to create every part of his body that turned into a hologram.
Oh, I see them on the post there in the picture.
Yeah,
Is that what
they're
those
all,
are?
yeah, they're all
over?
they're all over. Like you're seeing such a small amount, like they go all the way up, creating, uniquely capturing every part of his body.
Now, what are the challenges directing in front of a green screen versus an actual background?
Oh gosh. Well, in front of a green screen, so I've directed quite a bit in front of green screens, and this one is uniquely different, I would say, to the others. Being that this turns, you have to put the headsets on to view this one and create that whole hologram. So you're directing in a 360 degree capacity. So then you're going to look at a screen which has, I can't even remember, there's like 20 different images that I'm looking at to see how he looks in the whole 360 degree sphere. But still how you communicate with the actor is the same. It's still essentially, even on green screens, whatever that is, you're communicating the same way with an actor. You're having that same interaction. Your interaction with the crew is different. Because you're trying to figure out all these different elements, and your interaction with technology is different, but your interaction with an actor and your core of a storyteller is the same.
You have to kind of know what's going to be behind the actor and kind of let them know where to look and where to move, right?
Exactly. And where their edges are. Because if he stood outside of that, I'm pointing. So funny, I just realized I'm pointing. No one can see that. If he stands outside of that circle, then we lose him, was what we were doing, and figuring out his eye line more correctly and everything. So that's it's a bit different. But it was a really awesome, fun experience. And as I said, it was the first of its kind in the world. So it was really exciting. Premiered at Sundance, which is a very prestigious festival. So it was really, yeah.
And you must have been excited that you were going to work with John Hamm.
Oh gosh, who wouldn't be excited? Yeah. I mean, the whole crew was excited that we're working with John Hamm. So it was just, I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful, resume piece, I think, or life experience.
That's neat. That's neat. Now we got to talk about Lion Spy. This is a documentary that you wrote and directed.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this. What's it about?
Lion Spy I spent 6 years working undercover in Africa to expose why lions in the wild are going extinct.
Wow.
Very different. That's me.
That's you.
If I get a little windswept, you can see.
This sounds dangerous. Was this dangerous?
Yes. I was not expecting you to ask me about Lion Spy. These are not the same conversations. It's funny, like the person who does Lion Spy and the person who directs Love in Bloom to me are not the same person at all. This was an extremely dangerous undertaking, but it wasn't. I did it because I believe in the world. I believe in conservation and just wanting to have a better world for everybody to live in. So there was it was just uncovering, as I said, essentially why lions in the wild are going extinct and what we can do as a community. And by community, I mean humans, as a community of people, in order to ensure they don't go extinct. And I really worked, there's a lot of people saying this or that about it, but I really worked not to vilify anybody. That wasn't my aim. It was just to expose something. There's only 20,000 lions remaining in the wild. And I felt that we needed to be educated about that and look at ways in order to save them.
Now, you're undercover with these hunters that are killing these lions. How do you explain to them the cameras that you're filming everything on? Because they have to see the cameras, right?
Well, a camera. It was just me filming.
Just
just me.
You had the camera on you, right? At times? Yeah.
Yes, all the time. Yes, I went undercover as a intern, a videographer intern.
Ah, okay. That's how they. Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. So, it was it wasn't as thought out a process as a lot of people think. It just became something that spiraled, and it spiraled simply as a necessity that I believe that we all have to try and make a difference in this world. And that's where it came from in my heart, and that's what I try to convey.
That's neat. That's not, now, where can people in this country see it? Can someone in the U.S. watch it or what?
Not yet. Unfortunately, not in the U.S. No, not in the U.S. It had a big premiere in last month, actually had a huge premiere in the U.K. It was screened at the U.K. Parliament. It was invited to screen there. So, and it's had a theatrical release in Australia and New Zealand, but it isn't yet released in the United States.
Okay.
So wait, stay tuned for more information.
Stay tuned. All right. Now we'll get talking about Love and Bloom here. But before we do that, explain to me your casting process. How do you decide who's going to be in your films?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No. So the casting process for everything is always different. So if you're doing a commercial, or if you're doing, when I'm shooting John Hamm, it was about his feature film. So it's a no-brainer. So your casting process is always going to be different for whatever you're filming and whoever you are as a filmmaker. For Love and Bloom specifically, I knew I'd known Susie forever. I knew I wanted to work with her. And I created and built the character Amelia Hart around her, drawing into line pretty much her nuances and how I thought she would interact. So that was really simple. Julian was cast. Julian made a casting agent for Julian and all the other actors. There was a casting agent, and then they send you through auditions. and you watch all the auditions.
Right, right. So you work with casting directors and agents,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
In every facet, including on commercials. And once again, sometimes though, if there's a commercial that comes up and I think, oh, I know the person, I'll try and skip the casting and just take that person. I mean, it's not just me deciding. There's always other people who get to weigh in. Like you put your first choice forward, and then other people weigh in on that.
Oh, but you're the director. Don't you have final say?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
Oh, the producers have some producers. They have a final say.
More than producers, financiers have final say, networks have final say. Oh yeah, there's a host of there's a host of people that get to make comments. It's not just you when it comes to the casting process.
I gotcha. All right, let's dive into Love and Bloom. Here you are on set with Susie and Julian.
Yes. Who I will say, I got my first choices here, so there's no. So that's a great moment, right? When you get your first choices. As I said, I didn't, knew Susie, I didn't know Julian, but yeah, when you get your first choices and you're campaigning for who you want, you're making a big effort.
Now, I think you already answered my next question, but I was going to ask you how you came about casting these two, because Susie's in the United States, Julian's up in Canada, you're in Australia. How did you three hook up?
Well, you keep forgetting that I keep saying I work a lot in the US.
Oh, that's true.
So I do have friends, Chad. Come on.
But how did you find out about them?
Susie I'd been friends with for years.
Oh, you have?
Prior. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been friends with Susie for years. So that was an easy situation. And we'd talked about working together for years. So that's how that came about. And then Julian was found by a casting agent, and they sent in his reel with a bunch of others, and he fitted Grace and Tanner. He fitted the role, and he fitted what we were looking for. And then you have to go, okay, do I think that, because Susie was cast, long before, so do I think he's going to work well with her? Are they going to have energy? Are they going to have all that connection that you want them to do? Right. And then on a hope and a prayer, you go, yep, let's do it.
And they didn't know each other before this project, right?
No, they did not know each other before the project. So at all. So, and I met Julian, I saw his tape, and then I met him on, he was in a different area. So we met, via a Zoom session, and I went, all right, let's give it a shot.
Now, this movie was filmed in Australia. Was this the first time Susie had been to Australia?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
it was her first, and we actually, I'd come earlier, but it was during COVID. So I spent 2 weeks in quarantine. But I was finishing, I'd done another film that, I was there for, because I travel a lot. And then she had to come during, that 2 week quarantine in Australia too, where it's a great, process where you get locked in a room for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Although having said that, it's actually quite relaxing.
So this was an adventure for her going to Australia.
I believe so. Absolutely. Yeah. I would hope so. I think look, a tough adventure during COVID. Everything was a little tougher. So I think to come and have this big flight and then be locked in a room for 2 weeks during COVID, because Australia was trying to stop the spread. And so it's kind of like a quarantine. Now, let me be clear. You're staying in a 5-star hotel, you're quarantined. Yeah. So let's not be, let's not to make people think that they're like going off to like, this is no prison. You're in a 5-star hotel and you get all your meals delivered, and you have, TV and everything else. So it's not quite a rustic existence.
And Julian, he's originally from Australia, but he lives in Canada now. So he had to come to Australia, and he had to quarantine too, right? Or what?
No, he was already in Australia.
Oh, he was already there. Okay.
He's only just gone to Canada.
Okay. So when you filmed this, he was still living in Australia.
Yes.
I got you.
He was still, so because you had him on the other day. No, he's only just moved there. He was still living in Australia.
Okay. All right. Now, for those who haven't seen the film yet, give me a little synopsis. Tell me what the film's about.
The film is about the beautiful Amelia Hart, who is a florist in Chicago. She's a Chicago florist, and she is in love with a beautiful doctor who is more dedicated to his career than he is to her. And her sister's wedding is coming up in Australia, and she thinks they're going together, her and her beautiful boyfriend, and she also thinks he's going to propose. So he does neither. So she thinks, okay, yeah, he doesn't either. Sorry, spoiler alert. So she goes to Australia to hang out with her sister and have that time. And lo and behold, disaster strikes, and her sister and her boyfriend are stuck on Storm Mountain. And I wish you had that insert music cue, right? Yeah. So her sister and boyfriend are stuck on Storm Mountain, and she is forced suddenly to have to prepare this whole wedding with the best man, Grayson Tanner, who she doesn't get along with because they've met accidentally. And she's infuriated by him because she's a type A personality. She likes everything done the way she sees it should be done. And he's a vet from a small local town. And so it starts off as quite a difficult, precarious relationship. And they have a lot of tasks to do, which is funny and amusing. And we have interjected in that, we have the amazing Mr. and Mrs. Poppy, who are the groom's mother and father, and host this beautiful inn called the Hummingbird Inn. And along the way, they start to find that maybe they're not so different. And there's connectivity, but I don't want to spoil the ending.
Right. Now, how did you come across this script?
No, I didn't come across the script. So as I said, the role was written for Susie. So it was when I started, working on this. I worked on this for a year. So originally it was presented to me as one line. And then I was fleshing out the story with them, and then we fleshed out the whole story, and then it turned into a script.
Oh, wait, did you help write it, or did you write it, or what?
So what happened in the process is, I worked on the treatment, which is the story. So I absolutely had a big say in the story creation of it. And then the script writer writes it, and then the director gets her little fingers on it too. But I had a lot of involvement with the script writer of scenes and creation of characters. So I created Amelia, and then we created Grayson together, because I'm a big animal person, as you know. Hence the reason there are all those animals in it. That's me. So this script is and I dance. So you might see a lot of dancing scenes in there. So there's a lot of me in the script.
So, but the writer, I think that got credit was Samantha Benjamin. Is that correct?
Yes, she's the writer. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you two kind of wrote it together, sort of.
She wrote the script, but working on a story is not writing the script.
I got you.
So yeah.
Okay.
So you collaborate on a story together, and then someone writes the script.
I got you. I see. Okay. Now, do you have a favorite scene that you shot?
I have a few favorite scenes.
You have a few favorites?
Yeah, I would say Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was jumping already onto it. I was going to tell you. Didn't even need to be up. So the horse riding scene at the end.
Okay.
I mean, because when you're a director, it's not just it's about so many elements. And I think, so you're getting to work. We worked with a beautiful stallion there. That this, by the way, and I ride as well, and Susie does, but this horse was just a ridiculously large stallion. So you look at it and you're like, I don't remember my horse has ever been that big.
Now, when you say stallion, you're not talking about Julian, right?
No, wrong movie. This is a family-friendly rom-com. Family-friendly, Chad. So yes, horse horse.
No,
Before
yeah. That horse was beautiful. Beautiful. I have
Yeah.
a picture of it coming up here in a little while.
So yeah, that was that would be my favorite because it was just such a beautiful moment, and you felt like while we were filming it, you felt the energy of her like riding this. I mean, we had a stunt double doing the galloping, naturally, as one should. You have to take precautions in film, and you're not having your lead actress on an excessively large horse galloping. But a wonderful, I hate to ruin it for people, but yes, it's a stunt double.
Oh, the movie's already aired.
Movies
People
already.
have seen it.
Well, I mean, I
Oh,
hate
you
to
mean about the stunt double?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, everyone knows. Yeah.
I hope so. And I think like, you have to have precautions. You're not asking your actors who aren't professional riders to get up on a professional stallion. Like
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
right.
So you don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know where that's gonna go. So yeah.
And then you said you had another favorite scene? You had two, you said?
I do.
What was
the
the other
dancing scene with it.
Oh, the dancing with Joey?
The
instructor?
Yes.
Oh,
exactly, with Joey Vieira.
Okay.
Or actually, there's three actually. Enrique. You reminded me. See, I will just keep going. By the end, I would have listed every scene in the film. But with Enrique and Julian and Susie, it's just such a classic, fun scene where he just brings, Joey really brought just such a wonderful comedic timing and lightness to the film. And I think he spiced it up for us all, including them. Like they had so much fun working with him. So
now this movie, it started and ended with a title slate. And I really liked this. This was so cool because you don't see this in movies anymore. Like the beginning one had a black one, and here's the ending one with all the flowers.
Yeah.
Was this your doing, or was there an art director that did this, or whose idea was this?
No, so let me. It was a combination, but the art is all by a famous Australian illustrator called. So obviously I've suddenly forgotten Angie's last name because you've put me on the spot. And I say this awfully, and I'm going to like double check myself because she is a dear friend. But I mean, people have to remember when you're doing interviews, it's not like you're not doing them every day, or at least I'm not.
Yeah.
So I do get flustered a little. Pardon me for being human. So I always get it. Rehe, Rehe. And Angie is a Australian illustrator who I became dear friends with when over time. So these are all her flowers, including at the start, and a lot of the art that you see, including what those are her flowers, and including what Susie pretends to draw. That's Angie. You see her art on the wall throughout the film. But yeah, she's a famous Australian illustrator, Angie Rehe. You can look up her stuff. And so that is how that came about.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Neat. The film has a lot of very unique pieces of people in Australia in it. To get a famous Australian illustrator involved, to get, an amazing American actress involved. Like there's so much that we can talk about the music at some point. So.
Oh yeah, we will. Oh, but first we have to talk about this house. Tell me about this house.
That's keeping quiet. Yes, the house. This is they call this. So we shot in Brisbane, and this is meant to be obviously the most amazing house, but a quintessentially Brisbane, Queensland house. Now, to me, I don't. I'm from further down, so Melbourne, and this was the first time everyone kept saying, "Oh, it's so typically such a typical Queensland house," and I'm like, I don't know what a typical Queensland house is. And it was, I mean, it's absolutely, as you can see, it's magnificent. It's a dream. And it has its own Instagram page called This Old House. And they did it up. It was an absolute, I think, kind of a fixer-upper, and it's quite exquisite.
Now, I think I read on your Instagram page, does the assistant director live in this house or what? Or stayed in the house or what? No?
No.
Okay, I don't know where I read that. Okay.
No, definitely not. No,
Okay.
oh my God, I know what you read.
What did I
You
read?
read you read that the puppy that was sitting on the director's chair lives in the house, and I called that.
Oh, is that what it was?
The assistant director.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. The puppy. That's a joke, Chad.
Okay.
The dog does live in the house. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Okay. That's neat.
So we actually incorporated. Yes, there are dogs and cats in the house, and they are in the film. And there are two adorable children that live in the house, and they're also in the film.
Oh, okay. That's neat. That's good. Now, the interior shots, were they actually filmed inside the house or were
Yeah,
these
they
sets
were.
that you built?
Yeah,
They were
no,
inside
we
the
shot.
house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to think. Majority of what you see will be shot on location. It
Mhm.
was all about finding a house that we were going to shoot the exterior and interior of
Mhm.
that fitted that. So yes, this is. I mean, you can see the pool outside, which you
Mhm.
kind of saw in the shot. You can see the awnings to show you it's the same house. But yeah, this is all shot in the same house. We did redo. Redo. We did change the interior. Like it's our setup on the interior,
Mhm. Okay.
but the rest is the nuts and bolts are theirs.
I got you. So let's talk about in the movie, Mr. and Mrs. Poppy own the house.
Yes.
Tell me about these actors. Where did you find them?
Oh gosh. Okay, so Steve Tandy is actually Mr. Poppy is a famous Australian actor who was famous years ago for in an Australian TV show called The Sullivans. And Monette Lee is Mrs. Poppy. Not with the same background, but certainly as prolific. And once again, they were brought to me by a casting agent, and I saw both of them audition, and I was blown away. They're exquisite. And Mr. Poppy he's very old school in his acting technique. It's very theatrical, and every word is perfect out of his mouth. It's like listening to a song. I mean, I just think it's this amazing. I mean, obviously he's an older gentleman with these amazing, stunning blue eyes, and I would just always be like, "Just keep talking, just keep talking." He's just the most wonderful, exquisite human, and Monette Lee, Mrs. Poppy, is the funniest human. She had me cackling in every scene. She loved to ad lib. A lot of it did not make it because it wasn't as family friendly.
Oh.
But then a lot of family friendly stuff is in there. She's just she's funny. So there's such different acting styles, the two of them together, but they just he's word perfect for the script, and she just makes it up as she goes along. And they're magnificent.
I remember
they're magnificent.
I remember some funny lines that she had in the film. I remember.
Yeah, she just, she probably came up with them herself. Like she would just suddenly say something and you'd be like, that's hysterical. That was better than anything anyone wrote. So
now I'm guessing that all the supporting actors are Australian actors.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. So Susie was the only one in the film that wasn't from Australia, right?
Well, yes, and she's also the only one in the film who's not meant to be from Australia.
Yeah. Exactly.
I will say Artin John, who is the doctor at the start, her fiance, lives between Australia.
Oh.
He's Australian, but he also works in the US. He's done really well in the US too. You can see him.
Okay.
Yeah, he recently was the lead bad guy in the final of SWAT.
Oh.
Last season of SWAT. Yeah, he was the lead bad guy. So he's done really well. And then Joey, the dancer, is originally American. So yeah, he has a when you speak to him, I mean his accent's American. So I think like even though everyone's quite diverse or been here or there, so technically everyone was hired except for Susie as an Australian, but it's a bit of a worldly cast.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now, this girl here,
Yes.
Amelia and Grayson are trying to decide who to hire to perform at the wedding. How did you find her? And is she a professional musician or an actor?
Both. So both. So the song she sings is a beautiful song that one of, I don't even know what he's credited as, actually. He works in the office with us and was doing everything with me. And his friend wrote the song, and we were looking for an original song for this scene. And it was like, this is a good song. Let's do this song. And she was, and she sings beautifully. She acts beautifully. So, and she came. So I definitely say, to the best of my knowledge, she's both.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Now here's the dancing scene that you mentioned earlier. And you talked about Joey.
Yes.
When you casted him, was he in the US when you casted him, and did he come down to Australia, or what?
No,
or was he already in
Australia? He lives in Brisbane. He lives in
Brisbane. Oh, he lives there. Okay.
He lives in Brisbane with his wife and kids.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got you. Okay.
So he drove down the road.
And this movie was filmed in Brisbane?
This movie was all filmed in Brisbane.
Okay. And is that on the east coast of Australia? Is that what that is?
Northeast.
Northeast. Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
So at the top.
Okay. Now you mentioned this guy earlier.
Oh. Yes, Aston John. Well, you're ruining magic now, right? When
I know
Australia, and I'm like,
no, that's all right. That's all right. I wanted to ask you though, how much food did this guy eat when trying to film this scene? Because he was chowing down pretty good.
Oh, I want to first say I've spent a lot of time in Chicago. I love Chicago.
Okay.
I'm such a big fan of Chicago. So this was really important to me to get this right. Now, how much food did he eat? Not a lot at all.
Not a lot? Oh, okay.
No, God, barely. I would say barely anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to say what he brought, like, he was great. He also brought, he's become a dear friend. They all have. They've all become really good friends from this. And he brought such comedic timing. I don't know if you felt that, but I thought a lot of his lines as well are ad-libbed when he starts sitting there and making notes to himself and everything else. Like, that's just him, which is what you want from actors, right? You want them to come up with their own unique take on the character. So, and I think him and Susie together, it just had me in stitches. I love this opening scene.
Yeah, especially when she thinks, when she thinks he's going to propose, and actually what he's going to ask her is that he doesn't want to go to the wedding, is what he wants to ask her. How can I get out of going to this wedding?
Totally. I love her face in this scene. She's just like absolutely taken. It's like, what's going on here? But yeah, and the food, like you talk about the food, like that's all done by the art director. She cooked this amazing feast for them.
Oh, did she? Wow.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, the art direction, I hope you asked me about that. The art direction in this film, like her cooking that perfect chicken and that amazing feast you see that they got to eat was just, I know Susie was so funny at the end. She's like, so can I have this now for dinner? Because it was really good.
He was eating a little bit. How many?
Yeah, they both were. They were both eating.
How many takes did it take to get this right? Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, no, I don't.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, when you find out, let me know.
Now, speaking of eating, how much cake did Susie eat while filming this movie?
Well, you've already interviewed her, right?
No, not yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Not yet.
You ask her. I'm not gonna dob her in. I'm not dobbing her in. It was good cake. That, once again, as well, that was her there. This was her making this up at the end. It was just funny. Like, she was just like, do.
Oh, that was all ad-lib?
Oh, yeah. She popped that in herself. That was just funny. She's like, I'm just going to sit here and keep eating. I'm like, you go, girl. You do that. So, yeah, she got a little.
I heard her say in another interview that she did eat a lot of the cake, that it was really good.
Well, she chose to eat that there. So I don't know if she was even thinking that was, I think she was just like, I'm just going to sneak this last bit in. And it's like, that's going on. That's going in the film.
All right. Now, speaking of the cake, here Amelia and Grayson are trying to decide on the wedding cake for this wedding.
Yeah.
Now, all the baked goods on this table, is it all real, or is it some
Yeah.
of it fake props, or what? Is it all
No
real?
fake props, all real.
Wow.
Yeah. The
Wow.
attention, the art directors, we had, our art director, and our creator, like their attention to detail was two people in particular, Nick and Danny. Their attention to detail is just unsurpassed. Their ability, because they're another character in this film. The house is a character, but the scenes are characters, and all the little nuances that you see, as I said, the little art pieces, every little part of this, all this cake that they got, every little thing you're looking at is provided by and put there by them. So much as that little pink, you can see behind her is the pink, the whisker, right behind Julian. Every little piece has been so strategically placed. The way the cake is cut up, the way it's put down there. I mean, their attention to detail was something else. It makes this film, and the cutlery used, like the plates used, the flowers on them. It was really magical. It was even more magical to physically see it up close. So yeah.
Wow, that's neat.
It was beautiful.
Now, one more question about food. Here we see Amelia and Grayson eating pizza.
And I feel like it's all you're showing.
You know what? I didn't realize that Australians ate pizza.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize pizza was a thing in Australia.
Pizza's a thing all over the world, Chad. Come on.
Is it really?
Yes.
No. Is the pizza in Australia different than the pizza in the US? No. Okay.
Exactly the same, unless it's unless we're talking New York pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. New York pizza is New York pizza, but otherwise, yeah, it's exactly the same. I think on this particular one, I remember being like, "Don't eat the pizza, guys! Do not eat the pizza." And the pizza was great, but I was more like, it's so hard, right, to get out lines while you're munching on the pizza, and I'm like, "You guys have eaten enough this whole film. Don't eat the pizza. Look at the pizza." But you can see by the fact it's been nibbled that they ate the pizza.
Well, they have to make it look real. Yeah.
No, they do.
Now, you mentioned this scene earlier. This is the what people call the meet cute scene.
Meet cute. I didn't mention the scene.
Well, Amelia and Grayson first meet, and I love this scene because she thinks that she's a thief, or she thinks that he's a thief who's stealing the wedding rings. Now, did you come up with this idea? Was that you, or was that the writers? That was your idea?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And I don't remember where I came up with the idea. I was probably inspired by something. But once again, as I said, like I would come up with the idea, and then this amazing writer, Samantha, would bring it to life into the script. So it was really like, this amazing collaboration that I'm so grateful for. She's exceptional. But yeah, it's such a fun meet cute, because the meet cute for people, it's the scene where the two protagonists meet for the first time. And it's really hard to come up with something unique, because there's so many meet cutes and so many of them have been done before. Yeah. So it's like, how do you come up with a new meet cute? We all know the one where, it sounds silly, but we all know the one where the girl, I don't know why I always think of it, where the girl falls into the bushes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You even like, she falls into the bushes, you see her legs. I don't know why. Like, no matter what, she falls into the bushes and you see her legs. I'm like, come on, guys, we need a new meet cute. Right. So, yeah, so this was adorable. So they go into the jewelry store, and she's there to pick up the rings, and he's already picked them up. So she decides he must be a thief in Australia. And instead he is this gorgeous Australian swashbuckling man. But it's an adorable scene, and it's a scene where they're kind of like, wait, who are you? You did it. So and you also see how her clothes change, because here she's all in black with the red lipstick and tight and put together. So yeah.
And at the end of this scene, he realizes who she is, and when he drives away, he says, well, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I think that was his polite way of saying, shoot.
All right, now my next question you answered earlier. Here we see the pictures that Amelia is drawing during the film, and I was going to ask you who actually drew these, and you mentioned the artist earlier.
Yeah, Angie Rahe drew all of them, and as I said, what's so amazing is the fact that she is a well-known Australian illustrator. So to get those was something really special, and that was a favor she did for me. So she's just so prolific and amazing. And we've used her artwork throughout. Like in the notebook was her writing. There's a big picture on the mantle that's flowers. That's also hers. So she subtly her artwork is throughout the whole piece. So those are important. Those details, I think they're important to an audience, but they're even more important to the artistic process. Because you want to feel inspired, right? You want your actors to feel inspired, and you put those little pieces throughout, and you create something really special.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm glad you noticed that.
They're beautiful drawings.
They are beautiful drawings. Yeah. So.
All right. Now
I'd say we'd get you one, but we can't do
that. Now we have to talk about animals. You mentioned that the film has a lot of animals. Here's a picture of Susie on a horse. Now, had Susie ever been on a horse before this? Was she a rider?
She had. Okay. She's definitely ridden. Okay. But there's a difference between riding and I think Western riding and then $1 million stallion. That's a professional for show jumping and everything else. I mean, he is a big boy, like enormous. He really rocked up, and we were all like, is that a horse or is there another breed of animal we don't know about? So it was a little, he's stunning. God, he's stunning. But a little bit overwhelming, the sheer size of him. So we did have a lot of safety on the set and a lot of and the horse wranglers and everything else to really make her comfortable, because I wish you can see he's beautiful, but you can't see how absolutely enormous he is. His legs are his legs are kind of the size just of a normal horse all by itself. I'm trying to think. Is he Ferdy? His name's Ferdy. Fernando.
Oh, okay. And you said earlier this was your favorite scene to shoot?
That was my favorite scene. Yeah. Being just the galloping across and then having her sit there on top of it so regally is it was just so much fun. Like you felt the passion, this adrenaline and excitement watching this horse gallop through, and then she's there and takes your breath away. And it's really to me, that's what love is, right? That whole oh my God. Yeah, loved it. Now, and then with the music.
Oh yeah, the music going, yeah. Now besides the horse, you also worked with a goat. So how was it working with this goat? Was it difficult to keep him in this crate?
He was the most difficult little munchkin of all our animals. Yeah, he was. Lauren. Lauren. I don't, it wasn't, was she moving a lot in the crate? She just wasn't I don't know why. She just wasn't they were all easy. I shouldn't say that. They were all pretty really easy-ish animals, but what was she doing? She probably wanted to move around the most. Yeah. So we had to kind of be quick on the scene.
Now they say you should never work with children and animals.
Exactly. So what we decided to do was work with all of them.
All of them.
I read that and then I thought, oh no, let's just work with all of them. Yeah, how many animals can you put in this thing? It's a very I told you I love animals, so it's a very animal friendly set. It really was me fulfilling my childhood dreams.
That's good. Now this scene is adorable. You've got a baby kangaroo.
I told you I was fulfilling my childhood dreams.
Yeah. How about this kangaroo? Did he cooperate, or was he challenging?
He was so good. He was amazing.
He was so good? Was he?
He came from a wildlife rescue center. So he was, he'd been rescued, and the person whose house it was at helped us. She volunteers, and she helped us get a hold of him and oversaw him. And he was so good. He took his bottle. He jumped on cue. My God, this Joey jumped on cue. This Joey should get an agent. So he was amazing. He was so well behaved, and you can see the look in their eyes is real. Everybody on the set just wanted to hold the Joey. So
yeah, he was jumping around there, and Julian Grayson had to pick him up in that blanket.
Yeah, he jumped into the blanket.
Yeah, that's right.
He jumped into his pouch. Right. He did. It was. Right. I'm telling you, it was like this Joey knew what to do. It's like he took a cue. It was absolutely amazing. It was like action, bounce, bounce. In I go. I was like, the Joey is the smartest person here.
What was I going to say? Oh, when this scene came on, when the movie first premiered, I mean, Twitter blew up. Everyone was saying, "Oh, I love this scene. What an adorable scene!" Everyone that was live tweeting. Just loved it.
Oh, it was. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, it was a special scene, and it was. Yeah, someone said, yes. Where there's a will, there's a way. I was like, we're getting a baby Joey if it kills me. And I think I might have gone and stolen one. Had not found one. So thank God we found one, because I was going to go steal one. We were having a baby Joey in this film.
Now there were also adult kangaroos in the movie. Now, was this something that you shot, or was this stock footage that you found, or what?
No, there's kangaroos in the area.
Yeah.
It's
so you filmed them?
Yes, it's quintessentially Australian. Yes, that was filmed. When we would drive up to that particular property that you just saw in the mornings, there was kangaroos hopping across the street. Now that's not everywhere, guys. That's not typically that's not in Melbourne or Sydney, just so everyone knows, right? Don't go to Australia and think you're going to see a kangaroo hopping across the street. But in this particular area, they were.
Oh, that's neat. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. And I love these birds, very colorful birds. Again, did you get this shot?
Yeah. And once again, and those birds you'll see throughout, as far as I know. I see them, you see them in Melbourne as well. I've suddenly forgotten the name. You see them in Melbourne as well. They're amazing birds, but they're pretty common in Australia.
Okay. They're beautiful, that's for sure.
They are beautiful. They're absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and this was a great shot that you got.
Every animal we can.
Yeah. Now the pier here. This is a great shot of the ocean there. That pier is this a public pier?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you rent it for the day?
It wasn't. Well, it's not. We didn't get it privately, but we had to obviously get a permit to film on there at all. So we were permitted for that whole site that you're seeing to go and shoot there. So you're dealing with you're dealing with people. If you're just people on the boardwalk. But yeah, we got permitted for that site, and I know that when we scouted it, just that tree, right? It says it all. This scene was an add-on scene. So it's this whole scene, that's what's so amazing, is we lost time on the scene right before it, and we had to add the scene in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so amazing, right? It's the poster of the film, and it was an add-on scene because we didn't have enough time to shoot all of the scene before with the kangaroo. So it's a kangaroo flower, isn't it? That he holds up. I think it's a kangaroo flower. I'm trying to I'm making sure in my head. No, it's not it's called. I'll get back to you on that. It's a very. It's a paw. It's a kangaroo paw. It's the flower that he holds up is a quintessentially Australian flower. And that was meant to be a part of the scene before. And like everything else on film, sometimes films are just organic and you run out of time and then you deal with it. And this was our next day we're shooting here. So we incorporated it into the next day. So this was actually quite organic, a little bit fly by night. So by fly by night, then the director goes back to her room after shooting and goes, what am I going to do now? Right. And it's like all systems hysteria go. And how am I going to pick this up? And I have to put the scene in kangaroo paw. And I've got this kangaroo paw. And, so the scene was not actually even going to be in the film at all. It all came accidentally. It's kind of, I was thinking, I love that you asked that, because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the poster for the whole film.
Yeah, it is. It
was an accident. The entire thing, which is kind of awesome. Because it goes to show you how organic films can be. So you can have as much planning as you want. And there's so much planning that goes into every little part of this. But you also have to be ready to go with the flow and fly with the punches.
Oh, the planning always goes out the window.
The window. So how can you fix it? And this scene was going to be the next day. And that's just and there was this perfect tree. I knew about the perfect tree though. And so that's how it happened. Now,
did Susie, did she fall off the tree at all?
No.
No? Okay. I wondered if she was like getting on and off, if she like slipped and fell off or anything. No,
she didn't. Well, no, she just sat there. I was like, she just get off.
Right.
Yeah, she just sits there. She was very comfortable.
Okay.
She was sitting and drawing. Yeah.
All right. Now here is the same shot, but at night. This is awesome.
It is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And another thing, because we had one day to shoot this, and everyone said, you're not going to get a perfect sunset. And I said, yes, we are.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you how many nights it took to get this shot. One night?
One night, and a lot of prayers to God.
Wow.
I prayed and I prayed and I said, and I remember everyone going, no, look at the weather. It's not going to happen. And I said, yes, it is. I was like, yes, it is. Stop messing with my prayers. Yes, it is. And guess what? I was right.
You were right. Now I
knew it.
Now this next shot, did you get this on the same night?
All the same night.
Of Amelia and Grayson standing on the pier?
Yeah. So two different cameras that particular moment. We had two. Yeah, we usually had, two cameras on us. We split the cameras for the scene to get that and to get this, but it's all the same sunset on the same night. And me, as I said, and it just got better and better, right? We were like standing there, and as we were standing there, it would be like, this is beautiful. This is more beautiful. Wait, this is more beautiful. Like we just kept going. And every minute we were there longer, it got more fantastic. And I think like once again, what you see is them genuinely loving that sunset. We were all loving the sunset.
Yeah.
I think there was a point where it's like, why are we working? The sunset's awesome. But I shouldn't say that. I was a director yelling, don't stop shooting. Don't stop shooting. Just keep going. Whatever you do, do not stop. Do not just look at that sunset. Look and love, but don't stop shooting. Yeah. Another angle. It was crazy director mode. Like you're getting the sunset of your life, right? You might not get it again for another week. I ain't missing that.
Yeah, you captured a beautiful shot there.
Thank you. Yeah, we just kept going. Like we shot it and we shot it and we just we just kept going.
Now here is the beginning of the film where your name is on there.
Oh, thank you.
Is this shot? Is this a city in Australia? This shot?
That's Chicago.
That's actually Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if that was Chicago or Australia. Okay.
No, gosh, but have you been to Chicago?
No, I've never been to Chicago.
Oh, okay. That's quintessentially Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. As I said, I've spent a lot. I worked there a lot with a client, so I know Chicago well. That's very quintessentially Chicago. I know that exact area. That is not our footage. I don't know. We got that footage. Yeah. That's not. Yeah. Okay. That's quintessentially Chicago.
Okay. Interesting. Now, this was a cool shot also of Amelia and Mrs. Poppy standing on the bridge.
Yeah.
I imagine you had a camera on land somewhere and you had a zoomed in on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just hiring you next time.
Yeah, that was amazing when I saw them walking across the bridge.
It's That was a Monet painting come to life.
Yeah.
It just, I don't even know. I think so much of the film, right? Yeah, it's just so it's just that particular. Yeah, we chose. Well, I wanted this particular location. This is part of a house that we shot on that has a lot of locations that we used on it. And I knew, once again, no matter what, I was using that bridge because it was sensational. But even in my wildest dreams, I don't think I could have thought that particular scene would have been that perfect.
Yeah. Now here's the same shot, but farther away, so you can see the whole everything.
Yeah. It's something else, that scene. It's quite exquisite. Yeah, and that's, once again, that's part of a person's house. I know, right? Crazy. But it's just, I mean, I can just sit here and look with you because it was something special and truly. And the costume, of course, her bright pink dress really brought it to life. It really popped. But this every part of that scene just glistened. So it was, I'm just going to sit and admire it with you and go, because as I said, you can dream that things will be perfect and then they come out even more perfect. And you just, you have to thank, your lucky stars.
Now this scene where Amelia and Grayson are riding bikes, the pond here, tell me you did not have a camera in the water.
No, you're just on a super low angle.
Yeah. Well, I shot a film in the spring that I acted in, and I was fishing in a river.
Yeah.
And they actually put the camera in the river. The tripod for the camera was in the river, and the camera was obviously above water when they filmed that. So that's what I was thinking when I saw this. I'm like, oh, is the camera in the water?
No, and not even, and by the way, no, fair, very fair. I appreciate you saying that, but not even close. I think what you've got is, because we've got the trees right at the trees in the front there that you've got on the left side, that's probably giving you the perception a little bit that we're lower than we are because we're pretty high.
Yeah. But that was a neat shot too. And this next one was cool too. Was this your shot or was this footage? Was this yours?
No, it's all ours. We
it's
shot
all
the
yours.
Whole, yeah,
wow.
We shot everything.
Because full moons only occur like once a month, right?
I don't even know if that's full or a little CGI. Like,
okay.
There's other things at play here always.
Okay.
Stop ruining the magic for people.
Well, I like to know how things are done, how films are made.
That's fair.
All right, now this wedding dress. We have to talk about this wedding dress. Here we see Susie in this wedding dress. Where did this dress come from?
That wedding dress. Okay, so I can talk more in detail about all her dresses, but this one.
Oh, really?
Okay. Because this dress this is an Australian designer who was found by our designer for the film, our clothes designer for the film. She got this on loan from an Australian designer. And so that is where this very specific, very expensive dress came from. That is obviously worn by both Susie and then at the end.
Wow, that was my next question. Yeah. If the actress playing her sister is wearing the same dress.
Yeah, absolutely. Identical dress. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same dress, same size, the whole shebang. Yeah. So, and once again, just to go back, this is at the same house you asked at the beginning.
This one?
This is all the main house. Yeah. This is the indoors. The next shot's the outdoors. It's all the same house.
Okay.
Yeah, we really stay true to wanting a house that could give us all these pieces.
All right. Now here we see the end of the movie where the big wedding scene occurs.
Well,
close to the end. How long did it take to set up this shot? And are those flowers real or are they fake?
Oh, you really want me to just kill it for the audience, Chad?
Tell me they're real.
They're real.
They're real.
You said tell you they're real. So I did.
But movie magic, are some fake or what?
They're fake.
Okay. They look real though. It's cool.
Those are the only fake flowers though in the whole film.
Are they? Okay.
Because everything else is real. So their bouquets are, oh my gosh, we should be fine. Their bouquets are real. Everything else, like whenever she's working with flowers, they're always real. But this particular one, it's an abundance. And you need them for several hours to not die. So these were not. An interesting fact is the two girls sitting up on the corner, watching from behind, like by Julian, right? They're the two they're the two daughters who they were guests at the wedding, but they live in the house.
They live in the house.
Sorry. And how long did the scene take to set up? Luckily I was not there for the entire setup, so I can't answer that, but quite a while. I would have been shooting something else while they were setting up.
All right, I'll have one more slide. I know you got to get going.
Sure.
We got the end here where Amelia decides to stay in Australia. Grayson decides to stay in Australia. They have their big final kiss. But what I want to know is, where'd you get this truck? Where'd this truck come from?
Not the only person to ask that. As I said, the Nick Foley art department was a genius. And he found me the truck. And once again, as we talked about, there was so much things that go wrong and right in a film. This truck was meant to be, I believe I chose a red truck. I chose a red truck, and then the red truck suddenly wasn't available. So I ended up with this perfect yellowish truck, and it is a far better fit than any other color. So it was just such, right? It's so amazing. So that was, we rented it. I can't tell you where it came from, because as I said, I had these amazing, this amazing person running art department, which you'll see throughout the whole film, like in the train scene where you have Primrose, like the whole thing. People just have to remember that any little piece of this film was created by an art department. There is, there's so much detail, but it came from, I'm just sad because there's a photo of this exact scene, except with my head popping out, and I'm sorry you don't have that one.
Oh, really?
I was like, it's kind of a little, well, it's more than funny. There's a few of me joking around in this scene. Yeah. Where people like, I know there was one that was almost actually accidentally sent as a PR piece, because you don't realize I'm like standing between them. So yeah, I was told by one of the person who was going to send it. She's like, "Oh my God, I almost actually sent the piece with you. I didn't realize you were in the middle." So
yeah, this truck, it looks like a truck from like the 60s or 70s. I don't know if it is or not, but it kind of looks like that.
I mean, it's it's definitely a vintage truck that we found. It wasn't that easy. Like it took time. Like everything took time to find. But it, that's what we needed. We needed something to suit Grayson. And it really, it suits him, right? Which was so important. I think the only question you didn't ask me two questions. Are you going to end, or can I answer them?
I'm going to end. I got a question here.
Okay.
Explain to me what Vegemite is.
That's a great question. So Vegemite is a condiment. Condiment? Yeah, it's like, I mean, what is it? Well, it's like Marmite, but if you don't know what Marmite is. So it's like Marmite. The mistake that Americans make is they think it's like Nutella, because it's got the same color as Nutella, not the same consistency. So they'll get it and they'll spread it on, right? They'll just put heaps and heaps on, and then they'll take a bite and be like, "This is disgusting," because it's a yeast extract and it's really bitter. But you're not supposed to put it on so heavy. What you got to do is have some nice toast, put some butter on, and you only put little dabs of it, right? Like a little tiny bit. Not even like filling up your whole piece. And that's how you eat it.
Oh, okay.
And it is, yes, it's probably an acquired taste, but we all grew up with it.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So I'll have to take you Vegemite.
Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, what future projects are you working on that you're allowed to talk about? Any?
No.
No. Okay.
It's always like you're always quiet until, for multiple reasons. One is you've either signed an NDA or, or you don't want to jinx it, knock on wood.
Right.
Like, so you're always in that. But I am excited to do, hopeful. There's nothing on the cards yet, but excited to do another rom-com. I've loved Great American. I've loved GAC. I've loved the love that they put behind the film. Has been amazing, and the care and the promotion has just been exceptional. Like that's been a dream. So as a filmmaker, to bring something that, I spent so much time of a year of my life on this, for them to put so much love behind it makes me feel loved. Because, essentially this is your baby that's going out into the world. And you care every little thing that people say. So when you say everyone on Twitter is loving, the scene, and you're like, oh my God, I died to make that scene. As I said, I was going to go steal a Joey, so that people loved it, right? It makes it worth it. So when GAC got behind this film, that was really special to me. And it is really special. And and I'm grateful for you and the love and all the questions. My God, what amazing questions.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This was the first rom-com that you did, right?
Yeah. It's my first rom-com. Not my last. I'm a rom-com.
Not your last. I hope it's not your last. I hope it's not your last.
No, definitely not. I love rom-coms. I absolutely, I did it, as you saw, I did a documentary, but I've said that's it for me in the doc land. I spent a lot of years on reality and docs, and I just want to do things that are happy. Happy and cute and funny and sweet and just make people smile. That's right. We're in such a difficult world. Let's all just smile.
Now, where can people find you? What are your social media handles so people can follow your accounts?
I'm Rogue's World. On Instagram, I'm Rogue's World. So ROGUES World. I say it's Rogue's World, and you're all just living in it.
Okay.
And then I have, if any, otherwise I have a website. So I'm roguerubin.com. If they want.
Okay.
So
you're not on Twitter? Not on Twitter?
Not really, no. I mean, I think I set one up the other day just to see what was going on. Literally, as you said, when things were trending, I was like, I wonder what's going on. I got to set one up. But it's too much. It's too much for me. I'm too busy working on projects, and I don't want to be distracted. So I love the interaction. I love the people who've come out and responded to me and the love I've gotten. But just one social media is enough.
Okay. Well, Love in Bloom, it re-airs this Saturday, September 10th at 4:00 Eastern on Great American Family. Rogue, thank you so much for being here. This was fun.
You were so amazing. Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for being here. And until next time, you keep the faith, keep smiling, keep your friends close, and keep your Great American Family closer.